Hi, everybody. Hello, Netflix Book Club. I'm Uzo Aduba, and welcome to But Have You Read the Book? If you spent the past months trying to untangle all of the mysteries in Harlan Coben's Stay Close, then you are here in the right place. We have today joining us the author himself, Mr. Harlan Coben, and star of Stay Close, Richard Armitage. Hello, Richard.
Hi.
Hello, Harlan.
Nice to see you.
How are you both?
Thrilled to be here.
Glad to have you. If you haven't finished reading or watching, pause now, get a cup of coffee, and join us when you're ready because we're going to be talking big spoilers here. So, first question, Harlan.
Yes.
Stay Close, it's your sixth book that you've done with Netflix. What's the experience been like watching your books be adapted, and especially now for a sixth time?
It's really fun. I mean, I know it's supposed to be a little jaded about this, but there's always that moment. You know, when you go on a set and you see all of these actors that you love and this cast and crew putting it together, 100, 200 people, and you sit there and I go, I had this silly idea in my house, alone in the corner of my room. And now Richard and these other people are gonna bring it to life for 190 countries, over 200 million plus Netflix subscribers. If you don't get jazzed about that, you're in the wrong business.
Yeah.
So I still get like a kid when I'm starting to make a new show. I love it. This is Richard's second time working with me, which is so nice. But it's just really cool.
Wow.
God, if I thought of 200 million subscribers, I would not come out of my trailer. To get that out of my head.
I don't tell Richard
You
that
know
till the
that
end.
many?
A lot of people.
Yeah, and what does it feel like being in an adaptation of his, knowing that he has such a following?
The first time, it was really kind of unknown territory for me. I read The Stranger, the first chapter, I'm like, I really want to be involved in this. Coming back the second time, I knew what I was in for, which is just a great team of brilliant creatives that move this story out of the page and into screenplay and then, you know, into kind of executed reality. And I love what these guys did and how kind of open they are to every possibility.
Does that at all affect how you approach each book now moving forward?
It doesn't affect my writing at all. A novel is a novel, a TV series is a TV series. They shouldn't be the same. And if you try to write a novel thinking, ooh, this will make a great 8-part Netflix TV series, you're dead. The caveat to that, the thing I add to that is, though, I'm willing to make a ton of changes. I love making changes. I don't think they should be the same. I think the worst adaptation stays slavishly devoted to the text. It's a visual medium, you should respect that.
Do you find it useful to have Harlan close? Is getting the more insight into the story as written helpful to you in terms of the performance that you're going to bring to Ray?
Totally, because in a way, this is the Bible.
Yep.
And this is God. So I
And that's
kind
the
of am
line.
like, God. But you kind of have direct access. So I can take, you know, every single scene in the script, you can find the reference for it in the book, and then I can call or email Harlan and go, and then what happened?
It's like this, I birthed Ray, if you will, his character in Ray Levine in Stay Close, but now he's gonna take them, and the best actors do, and you do this too, take them in a different direction that I don't really expect, and is often better than what I expect. So it's that collaboration I love.
Today, I have some quickfire questions for the man, myth, legend. Are you ready, Harlan Coben?
Oh yeah, let's go, shoot.
All right. Name all 6 Harlan Coben titles available on Netflix.
Ooh, okay, let's see. Stranger, Safe, Stay Close, The Woods, oh, don't tell me. The Innocent, and Gone for Good. Did I get them?
Favorite set to visit?
The Innocent over in Barcelona, because I got to go to Barcelona.
Barcelona or Manchester?
That's right.
Which of your characters is most like you?
It's all of them. You know, there's a piece of me that's Ray, there's a piece of me that's Brune, there's a piece of me that's Megan, there's a piece of me that's Lorraine.
There's a little bit of musical theatre Barbie in you as well.
A little.
If you cooperate, the pain will be kept at a minimum.
What is your favourite book quote?
My favorite quote that I sort of live by, a Yiddish proverb that I use in a lot of books, is man plans, God laughs.
What keeps you up at night?
Not much, I sleep pretty well. I think I get it all out and pass it all on to you.
How do you take your coffee?
Black, just the pure hit.
The Italian way.
That's it. You know.
This is the last one.
All right.
In Stay Close, who do you think was perfectly cast and why was it Ray?
A simple question. Why mysteries?
You know, You can call it what you want, mystery, crime fiction, suspense, thrillers. I don't look at it as a genre. I look at it as a form, like saying a haiku. And within a haiku, within that form, I can do all the things I want to do. So what is this story really about? The friendship between Ray and Fester, the romance between Broom and Lorraine, a woman longing for her past, worried about getting married. It's all of those things, but when you're telling it in a mystery form, you're remembering to tell the story. There's a narrative drive. And if you think of all of your favorite books that are more than 100 years old, almost all of them have a crime in them, right? All of them have some sort of mystery angle. It's only in a modern era where we sort of don't have that. So what the form makes me do is not just get lost in the genius of telling you the story about down and out Ray, it's making him do things and keeping you engaged in telling a story.
Ray, what happened? I can't remember.
Do you find that every character is a detective in some way in your story?
Yeah, they're detective though for their life. I mean, most of these stories are about redemption, right? So Richard has to figure out what went wrong in his life, Ray, I'm sorry, 17 years ago.
No.
Something broke.
Still figuring it out.
And all characters, something is broken, and now they have a chance of trying to put it back together. And so they're not detectives looking under a microscope or checking fingerprints, but they all want the answers to what happened to them, what changed them, what caused their trauma. And so they all are exploring. Otherwise, what else are they going to do? I want my characters to be active, not passive.
Well, particularly from Ray's perspective, he has not been able to move on from what happened 17 years ago. He spent 17 years looking for this person that disappeared from his life, and he hasn't been able to move on. And he's, due to this lack of memory, he is like a detective piecing together these fragments of memory that he does remember, which was what the tattoos were all about. It's a way of kind of marking himself to just try and trigger memory. And by chance in the story, as Megan is triggered, so is Ray, and so much more starts to come back to him. So by default, his antenna and his kind of nose for the truth is out there sniffing around. And I think every character is trying to kind of unearth what's buried beneath.
How did you find me?
Luck. Coincidence. Poison fucking fate, I guess. You just disappeared, like you and me never even existed.
I know you're upset.
Upset.
I'm sorry.
When you were reading Stay Close, did you know the whodunit of it all?
No. Like literally to the very last page. Yeah, it completely took me by surprise. You keep us hanging on a thread till the very end.
Thank you.
And can you bring that to your performance as well?
Yeah. Well, I try not to read too much of the things that Ray shouldn't really know about. You know, I always have this thing of it's none of your business. Like things that are said about Ray in other scenes, that it's like it's none of his business. So I try to stay out of that bit. So it's always a surprise to me when I come to watch it.
Well, I just find the actors are different. Like, you as an actress, do you want to know how a story ends before you start doing it, or do you want to know in order that your character's going to know it?
It's a good question. I think it depends on the project. I think if it's a film, and I think I do like to know. Sometimes. Sometimes. The answer is sometimes I like to know.
So some actors like to, some don't, and I have to try to respect that, from the actors that want to know what's going to happen. I said, well, you don't really need to know, do you? Because in your narrative drive, you don't know either.
So then do you do that as well as you're building the mysteries? Do you know
I knew
from
the
the
ending
start?
before it starts.
From the
I know who did it before. When I start a book, I know the beginning, I know the end. I compare it to driving from where we are here in Brooklyn, New York, across to LA. I may go Route 80, but chances are I'll go via the Suez Canal or stop in Tokyo, but I always end up in LA. I always know my ending.
Why is that part of your process?
I think it helps. So if I can go on and off different roads and I can twist and turn you, as long as I know where I'm ultimately heading, I can lead you in false directions better.
Then the hints that are laid out there, those hints are enough to make, say, a Ray think that Cassie's done it, but then Cassie thinks that he's done it.
He's done it.
You know.
And technically, he done it.
It was like a trance.
Okay, y'all. So we are still in a pandemic, so not everyone can join us in person, but I really wanted to meet Nicola Schindler, executive producer of Stay Close, so we are gonna give her a ring. Hi, how are you?
Good, thank you. Are you okay?
I am okay. I'm doing very well, thank you. I'm doing better now that I'm talking to you.
Thank you.
Can we talk about changes that were happening from book to screen? What were your favorite changes?
I think some of the characters we've added are really fascinating. So Richard Armitage's character, Ray, has, in the book, he was ex-army. He was a photographer with the army. But in the story, what we've done is added his army sergeant, who's a really interesting character who comes along and whose fiance's gone missing.
This is my army sergeant, but this just won't compute yet.
Oh, don't worry, it's on your face.
It's kind of a red herring. You don't know whether it's connected to the mystery. It starts with the mystery and then it moves the story a little bit wider. And what Harlan doesn't ever want is for you to just have a red herring that goes off on a tangent that never comes back to the story. So it's a really brilliant, careful process, inventing story which will help enhance the ending.
Talk to me a little bit about a character like Kaylee, her becoming a character that now connects to Carlton.
So in the book, Kaylee was just Megan's daughter, and she didn't have a real dramatic role. But what we realised is we needed to bring Megan's story close to Carlton's story before the end. So we wanted to invent a story for her. And Harlan had the idea really early on to bring Kaylee and Carlton together in Vipers, which is the name of our nightclub, so that we would know that we don't know how and we don't know why until really close to the end, but we know that she's somehow involved in his disappearance.
Hey! Come back here with my keys.
Run! Come on!
Come back here!
And then what about blurring Megan's past and present a bit?
Yeah, so in the book, she has a lot of internal thoughts where she's remembering her past, she's remembering being a dancer in the club. And what we were aware of was that we can't have those memories just vocalised, we had to dramatise them. So we put in a whole level of 17 years ago where we see Megan as Cassie and see who she was. We wanted to show her both strong and empowered in that nightclub and also the things that went drastically wrong and why she had to leave. And Cush Jumbo, the actress, was so up for playing both Cassie and Megan, and she's done it so well. And she, you know, it's not just her clothes and her hair that's different. She has a different energy about her, and she embraced that fantastically.
So I'm gonna read a little bit from...
This is pretty special for me because you're one of my favorite actors.
Oh,
so the
my
fact that I get
gosh.
to hear you read my stuff is going to be fun. While I sit right here.
Yes!
Not to put pressure on you.
Let me get her a little ready.
Very cool.
Again, spoilers. If we are still daring to chart these waters without having read the book or seen the show, I recommend you pause here. And by that I mean the first line will spoil. Lorraine said, "Drop the gun." "What are you talking about?" "I'm here to help you, Lorraine." "Please, Broom." She pushed the gun hard against his head. "It's been a long night. Drop the gun." Broom did as she asked. "Now, call your dispatcher. Tell them you don't need backup, that it's all clear." Still stunned, Broom did as she asked. Then he pointed to the body on the floor. "Who is that?" "Someone Del Flynn hired." "What did he want?"
He wanted information about the whereabouts of Carlton Flynn.
He was the type who could dish it out but couldn't take it. So many men are like that. Broom looked at her. She met his eyes and nodded as if encouraging him to see what was now so obvious.
Oh, Jesus, no.
"It was you?
Okay.
You killed all of them?"
I wanted to make sure they could never lay another finger on a woman ever again.
I really felt for James Nesbitt in that scene when he finds out, when he learned the truth about Lorraine. I kind of want you to have all the feels. I want you to laugh. I want you to be smiling. I want to break your heart. I want you to be scared. And I want you to be surprised. I'm greedy that way.
Sympathize, but certainly empathize
Right.
with the experience, or the reason anyway.
You also touched on something really, which is about the humanity in each character, because even when we do discover who that serial killer is, they still have a humanity in them that kind of guided them to this terrible or victorious place wherever they end up. And trying to either empathize or understand a serial killer is quite a challenging thing to do, isn't it?
Absolutely. There is explanation given to why Lorraine has been doing the things that she has been doing.
He had taken my child's life. I had taken his. I used to think of myself as an avenging angel.
I always add one more twist that's not in the book. So for those who have read the book and are going to smugly watch the show thinking, I know everything that happened, there's one more twist in the last 5 minutes that is not at all in the book.
Let's talk a little bit more about that piece at the end of episode 8 and the difference between the book and the episode.
Yeah, in the book it was all Lorraine, and I wanted to do something different for the people who haven't read the book. But also, it made more sense for the show because here at the end, when Megan learns the truth, she's the only one who knows all the pieces, what her husband did, and what her child did. And when she has to realize that at the very, very end, the horror that she as a mother now, when everything seemed to be great, has to keep this secret. And the way that Danielle O'Hara filmed that, with the kind of shot coming out from her back as she's realizing the truth. Maybe because it wasn't in my book, that part kind of gives me a little bit of goosebumps. Also makes that ending a little darker for Megan. And she's watching her family dancing on the dance floor at the wedding, and only she knows the truth that they're responsible for a death. And I just thought that would be a really cool way of ending it.
The book is called Stay Close by Harlan Coben. It is incredible. It is a worthwhile read. Harlan, thank you so much for writing this.
Thank you.
Richard, thank you so much for a brilliant performance and your work always.
Thank you.
Stay close. Thanks, you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
I know. Thank you so much. Really, really, really. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. This is great.
Thanks for having me.
Yes.